And welcome to the HODLCast. Today we have a very special guest, Rare Scrilla or DJ J-Scrilla. And we're going to talk all about the Rare Pepe NFTs and the new platform. Well, I guess it's not that new anymore, the fake Rare directory.
So, what's up, Sasha? Thanks for having me here.
Fun Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, can you kind of give an overview of what the Rare Pepes were and how it morphed into or developed into the fake Rare directory?
Yeah, let's see. The Rare Pepes are an iconic crypto collectible started in 2016 in September by a guy named Mike, who was kind of like an anon, guy in a Telegram chat who was into XCP and basically, I wasn't around when it started, but from what I understand, he put the initial card in the Telegram group as like, this is my picture of the Nakamoto card, the Rare Pepe, card number 1, and created 300 tokens and put them on XCP, like Counter Wallet, which is like wallet.counterwallet.io, which is like the bare bones of Counterparty. So like there was no image on that site. The image was on Telegram, and he kind of associated that the art is this token with this or this picture in Telegram where it was hosted, and the token combined as a medium. So it was like you could right click save that Rare Pepe obviously and put it in your JPEG folder, but to have the actual art that he put out was a combination of the token, which kind of like was like provably like I made this in September or whatever date, 2016. This is the image, and then it kind of like gradually like from there it like really spiraled. People he minted a shitcoin card and Mt. Gox card, and yeah, and after that, like people just wanted to create Pepes and do all it was kind of like a play on Spells of Genesis, I think. Yeah, actually, right from the get go, even like there was a Bitcoin talk thread where there's 2 Gox Pepes that were minted like the same day within 10 hours of each other, and there was almost that's how the directory actually got spun up, the website, because they wanted to make it like this is the Rare Pepes over here, and the other Gox Pepe, which is now considered kind of like a fake Rare, not fake Rare part of our fake Rares, but the original fake Rares, which I guess we can get into later. But there was like a little debate about that. So like, it was almost forked almost immediately, but the directory kind of preserved what the Rare Pepes were. They got scientists together, and it was all just kind of like an ironic joke, fun, poking fun at like ICOs, memes, and as it expanded, it got into art and a lot more stuff. People started adding utility to it and all that.
What's that first Pepe worth today?
At least 100 ETH. I think right now actually it's more like around like 120, 130 ETH. Maybe I don't know how much ETH is worth right now, but I think it's around $330,000, like a floor price for that card, which they've always been expensive, really. Like,
what did it go for back in the day?
I can't remember exactly. I want to say like $50 or something. Like,
and how many were there?
There's 300 of them, which is a lot of money back in 2016 before anybody was buying these things like that. So, I mean, I remember like having a chance to buy one. When I was like the 100th person in that chat, in that Telegram group. And I remember, I actually got the Gox, the card 2 and 3, the shitcoin card and the Gox Pepe, because the Rare Pepe was too much. I got the Gox Pepe and shitcoin card for like, $2 or $3 or something. Worth
the $50 was too much to spend.
Yeah, it was like too much to spend. It was like crazy. Like, I'm going to spend $50 on this. But then, as you get in the community and you start, I don't know, it just became like a whole real like intellectual, memey, ironic. Like it was a bunch of like smart people in there in the chat, like just kind of like exploring what to do with all of this. I mean, it was really like if you go back and look at the Telegram chat, I think like the ideas that were like just coming out were pretty crazy. It wasn't just about memes and blockchain and Bitcoin, but it was just kind of like just the whole like community was really just on some like real edgy, fun. I don't know, just it was just a different time.
Was it like an? I know it wasn't, so I shouldn't even ask this. But like, the Pepe turned into like an alt-right signal. Was there anything like that in the chat?
I mean, yeah, you'd have some alt-right people come in and out of there. I mean, alt-right, I don't even know what the alt-right is. It's like but there would definitely be people like hard-right coming in there. Not a lot, a few here and there, but most, I would say like 98% of the community was just like, just crypto traders. At first, it was just crypto traders. It was just, that was what it was. Because Telegram, the meme was Pepe. The internet, the meme was Pepe. Reddit, Pepe. Like anywhere Pepe was the meme. A lot of different communities have adopted Pepe as their, icon or mascot at different points. Definitely during that election time, September, the Rare Pepes were launched, and maybe 4 or 5 weeks later, like Hillary Clinton had put out a hit piece on Pepe, which just made us laugh because I mean it's like we're all in there, and I mean there was more hard left people than hard right people in that chat for sure. I mean this was
How many people were in the chat?
At that time probably like 200 or 300 people when like Hillary Clinton came out on her website. I mean if you don't know, like you can look it up, like the front page of her website while she's like a few weeks away from the actual election, she puts the frog on there and says how it's bad. And it really was just like a Streisand effect. I really think that what she did lost her the election. I think it was just so silly, and it just really like.
You really think that's what made her lose the Pepe?
I do. I think like I really believe in memetics, and like I really do think this frog is like.
It's a bit magic.
It's anybody can meme it. Like I said this before, and I don't know if I got this from somewhere, but I've definitely been saying it for a while. Is like Pepe is a mirror, and it's just a fact. Like that's all it is. Like the Hong Kong elections or whatever in 2019, it was used by the pro-democracy people. Like it was used by a fringe group of alt-righters. Whatever the media tells you in fall of 2016. Right after we started using it, and that was like a big thing. So like, I remember I was purposefully drawing like hip hop Pepes and stuff just to like, be like
get it out of the
like this is just bullshit. Like
How many Pepes did you make?
Over 30. So I think I minted like 27 or 8 of my own, and then I did collabs. Like people hired me to make them Pepes. So like a lot of people weren't artists in that group early on, so they would like hire you to make cards. Like I made the X-Chain card for J-Dog. I made a one for Buddha that's like a play on Clockwork Orange. I made one for Sean, one of the scientists, that was like a Boys to Men Pepe. And then I minted a lot of like hip hop Pepes like Jay-Z and MF Doom and Run DMC. Tribe Called Quest, because I was definitely a DJ at that time. I wouldn't call myself a DJ now, but especially even in the Telegram group, I was always like dropping videos, and me and Joe Looney were like always like talking about hip hop, and like even Joe like minted like the Mobb Deep Pepe, and he might have done the Still Pepe as well, the one with the Dre and
For
Snoop.
anyone that doesn't know, what was Joe Looney's role in it?
So Joe's like the godfather of crypto collectibles. He's the one that started the Rare Pepe wallet. So, like I said, Mike started that first Telegram, just dropped the image in the Telegram group. There was nowhere to host the picture at the time. He then spun up a website, and then Joe then made a wallet, which was like he had made a some kind of Bitcoin, I forget what it was called, like BTC Pay wallet or something like that. And he kind of just forked his code and made the Rare Pepe wallet, and that really changed the game. Like even today, like the Rare Pepe wallet is ahead of almost every NFT project out there. I think you could do gift cards. It's really like a crypto collectible like
And even
wallet.
putting music on them was pretty novel at the time.
Yeah, I mean the unlockable content stuff. John Villars, who R.I.P. made a bunch of like crazy assets of Rare Pepes in there, like gameable ones and like the million website NFT thing that you see. He did that in the Pepes. Even like so, like I come from like a baseball card and record collecting background, so like when you go into the Rare Pepe wallet, it makes sense for somebody who's like a collector because I mean, like I said, it has like a big board on it, which literally is like a rip off from like a baseball card shop. When you go in, you see the big board where people go and like put their cards up, and they're like, you can bid on them or you can buy now type thing, and like the record store takes a cut, or the baseball card place would take a cut.
But
Pepe's didn't. That's another great thing is like this was all community run, no money, no ICO injection. Like it was all just like make it, build it, and they will come type thing. And like Joe made Rare Pepe wallet and never took a single cut from it. Like that's still 100% like novel idea today because.
But everyone gave him a card, like as
They didn't all give him a card. It was just he had an address at the bottom, like donate if you feel like this is dope type thing. Like it doesn't say that, but that's pretty much what it is. Like you like this, donate. So, even like Mike, Mike was the scientist that I dealt with a lot, where I would send him my cards first and be like, "Do you like this? Or is this gonna be approved?" And gets approved, and you send them a card like thank you. Like these guys are like breaking their backs to like run this site, and they're not making any money off it. Like I think almost every site that I know of makes money. Like even OpenSea makes 2.5% at least. Super Rare's taking a cut. Everything's taking a cut. These guys weren't taking a cut. It was literally just like a fun thing, and they weren't traded for much. They were traded for like $1, $5, $10. Like somebody just tweeted out the other day how when I first put the DJ Pepes on the market, I put 10 of them up for 0.75 XCP each, which was probably like $3.75 a piece. Like God. I think XCP was like $5 at the time. So like, like we weren't in it to like make money. It was just like a fun thing. And at that time,
what is DJ Pepe worth now?
I think the last sale was like around 15 or 16 ETH. That I saw, 0.8 Bitcoin, I think I just saw it sell for.
What's its high?
I don't know. I think around 60, something like that, 1,000. But I distributed most of them pretty early on. I used to give them away. I got the conferences.
And to me.
I gave her one, 2, I think even. But like what, like so, like we were, there was a kind of like a little mini bull run for like altcoins and a little bit of Bitcoin during that summer of 2016. It had been dead in like 2015 when I started like trading. And but then that fall, I remember specifically like this coin called BitShares, like everybody was really into, just dropped out. Like it went down really bad, like, and all the altcoins like just fell hard. And like a lot of us were on Poloniex trading in the troll box, which is where I heard about this, was Poloniex. And so that like during that, like the end of 2016, it was like kind of a lull in the market, and traders weren't able to trade really unless you were like shorting or something. And that was like the time to create Pepes, and we really just like, wasted, at the time it was wasting time. Now it's considered not, but we were just trading back and forth and joking. And like I said, it just like kind of just like everybody's chatting in that group just about like really off the wall blockchain stuff and world event stuff. And you could see like how the series goes, like kind of what we were talking about in the chat. Like, at first, the first like 3 or 4 series is a lot of like making fun of crypto celebrities and stuff like that. A lot of political ones, left and right. Then it got into more like kind of like iconic stuff. You know, you had like a lot of like music ones come in, and then art ones. A lot of art plays, and like around like series like 8, 9, 10 is when like you started seeing like the real like art ones start coming in. And as that grew, I mean, you look at like the series 20s and 30s, like they're mostly based more on like art cards. Like you didn't see as many low effort cards getting in. And even at that point, like you see like trash art's a big thing now. And that was started a couple of years ago, and it's basically just taking like images that could you didn't own and just putting it on things and selling it and making like remixes, or just kind of like basically like trolling the art world. And really like the early Pepes especially, like they were that, like they were taking Pepes that were popular in like 4chan or Reddit or Telegram, and taking those images and just slapping it on a card and like just writing some text on it, and not doing much to it, but they tell the story of like what was going on at that time, and you can really see the evolution of like that time. I think Rare Pepe's lasted 18 months. And
Why did it stop?
I think the scientists just got overwhelmed by the time that, like I think it was like maybe like spring of 2018 when it stopped. It was just I think like the original community had kind of like died down, and it was just a lot of submissions coming in. I think they were just probably just overwhelmed. It actually stopped after 1,000 cards for a while, and then it got spun back up after maybe like a month lull or so. So like every once in a while you'd have like a lull in between series where it's like, are these going to keep going? Like it was no ever like plan like, oh, we're going to do this many cards, this many series. So it was even me, I got like burnt out by like series 20. Like I don't think I put like one or two more cards in the directory after that, because it was just new people coming in, and super rare and all that stuff started popping up. So you had like people started making different communities, and you started seeing like people just splinter off. And then the gas fees on Bitcoin were like $15 to like trade. And when we started, they were like pennies, like 13 cents, 8 cents, 5 cents. And so at the time, it was kind of like, oh, we're really trading these cards that we're selling for $5 and spending $15 on a transaction fee. It just wasn't doable. So there would be like slow periods in that aspect. And, people were marketing Ethereum as like, oh, you can go over here for free and, do these trades. So there was people definitely hyping that up as well.
And then what happened after the directory closed? It kind of seemed like Counterparty. Well, it was still popping for the Bitcoin's game, but it seemed like it was kind of after the Bitcoin game lasted 4 years, and during that 4-year period, not much else happened on Counterparty.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's started in February of 2018, which was like towards the end of Rare Pepe, and I definitely, we got involved in that, which, I think Bitcoin's is a super overlooked community. They lasted 4 years. They just ended their game. A lot of cool cards in that one too. But yeah, that kind of was the only thing going for a while. And you had Memory Chain and Oasis. They were like Japanese-based, like Rare Pepes. Not Rare Pepes, but there was a lot of Pepe influence in there, and some Pepe artists doing that. And you had what was the other one? There was another one. So after the Pepe directory closed, Need Money, who was a big Rare Pepe collector, he's like probably the most diamond-handed collector of all time, started up. I forget the name of it, but basically did some kind of like Pepe thing that he tried. But by that time, the community just kind of didn't get with it, and XCP just had a lull, like especially in 2019 and the early part of 2020. Like there was not a lot of activity except for like the Bitcoin stuff going on, and even that was slow for a while. I remember like just randomly every once in a while I'd go on and like buy some Rare Pepes because I had some Pepe cash left over, and I mean I remember scooping like a Dan Dark Pill Pepe for like I think like 40,000 Pepe cash in 2019, which
What's the
you
dollar
know, was
value
not
of that?
much money. And like, I think the cheapest one for sale right now is like, you know, $100,000 or so. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, so like, you know, if you were buying Rare Pepes in 2019, early 2020, you were getting some great deals. And, you know, that when the market just took back off towards the end of 2020, it really didn't start
Yeah,
taking off.
how did that market develop again? Because like it went from all of a sudden they weren't worth very much to
So so NFTs got really big and popular towards the end of 2020. You know, Clubhouse popped up and people were talking about them. You had a lot of like SEO marketing people come in. You had a lot of big names start coming in, celebrities. And, you know, end of 2020 also you had Art Basel was recognizing it and stuff like that. But the thing that got Rare Pepes off was when Token Angels bought the Homer Pepe. And once that...
how much did they buy it for? 75K or something?
No, it was less than that. I don't really want to talk. I don't know what if it's documented what he paid for it, but he got the Homer Pepe for a steal basically, and
And what was the significance of the Homer Pepe?
so the Homer Pepe basically is the like kind of like the landmark of all crypto art because the Homer Pepe. There was a conference in 2018, the first like crypto art major conference. It was called Rare AF, Rare Art Festival, and you know they expected a couple hundred people maybe to come, and it ended up being like 400 or 500 people, standing room only in New York. And at that conference, they had an auction. So like everybody was kind of like drinking during the day a little bit, and then the auction happened at night after all these talks, and everybody's like fired up. And they're supposed to have a bunch of different auctions, I think, but it ended up only being like Rare Pepes, and then they had to shut it down because they had to be out there by like 6 or 7 o'clock. And you know, DJ Pepe was auctioned off, Pepe Basquiat, Salvador Pepe, but then the Homer Pepe was auctioned off, and it was one of 7 one-of-one cards, and it just became like a bidding war in there. They're using Pepe Cash to bid, and the guy that ended up winning, it was not in the Pepe community. I don't even think he knew what he bought. He was just so hyped up and wrapped up in what was going on, and he was like a marketing guy. And he bought it, and he paid like $36,000 for the Pepe, for the Homer Pepe. And you know, there's Sotheby's and Christie's representatives at this place. There's art people. There's like people from all over, and there's like, what the hell just happened? Like somebody just paid this much money for a card. Well, that made headlines for sure, and that probably was the most expensive Pepe at the time. You know, there had been 5-figure Pepes like in the Telegram auctions and stuff, like leading up to that. So it wasn't that absurd to some of the Pepes, but the Homer Pepe wasn't considered the main one-of-one. Like there was the pizza, Pepe Pizza was probably one of the most iconic ones, and the only one Pepe, which was the first one-of-one Pepe in the set, were probably deemed like more cultish at the time. But when that guy bought Homer Pepe, it made headlines, and that's what made headlines when you look at the Rare AF Festival. They're like, somebody pays this much money for a derivative frog green Homer, and they're like, what the fuck? And everybody's scratching their head. So that became like the thing, and I think it showed people that people are like willing to pay money for these things at the very basic level, obviously. And you know, then like super rare, people started buying on super
Yeah,
rare.
well, remember when the crypto kitty sold for like 150K at that Ethereum
Yeah, and that
auction?
yeah, sure, and that was
That
like,
was insane sitting there watching.
that was like summer of 2018, and yeah, somebody paid $120,000. That's a group of people, I think, online paid it for that CryptoKitties. So you started seeing that stuff happen, and so yeah, the Homer Pepe sold for that, and that's why like the Homer Pepe is kind of looked at as like, you know, the most valuable Pepe for sure, and you know, probably a priceless artifact now because of what the NFTs have become. It's definitely the most expensive one-of-one. Yeah, so that, you know, at the end of 2020 that happened. Token Angels got that, and then from there you started seeing like a lot of the NFT collectors from Ethereum start jumping into Telegrams and DMing and trying to buy people's wallets. They're trying to buy the Nakamoto Rare Pepe. They were trying to buy like, some of the rare Pepes. And, a lot of them were actually buying like wallets of artists. They were like coming in and like offering like six figures for artist wallets. And some people sold and some people didn't. And then up going in from 21 to 22, I mean, you just saw Rare Pepe skyrocket. I mean, at the beginning of 2021, I think the Nakamoto card was selling for around like $3,000 to $8,000. And now, it's sold as much as $600,000, and it's sitting around like 300 now. So, and it's looked at,
for JPEGs and frogs.
yeah, of Nakamoto, it's got a lot of memes in it because it's Dorian Nakamoto, aka the meme of Satoshi Nakamoto. It's green. Yeah. It's on Bitcoin. It's the first, I look at Rare Pepes as like really the beginning of tokenized crypto art, because that, you had Spells of Genesis and you had some like, early stuff that like people trying for sure. From Kevin McCoy's stuff on Namecoin to, even like, there's a lot of like little hobbyist things going on, but it was Rare Pepes where the first artists could come in and create in the community, and the most important thing was the artists were also the collectors, and there was not collectors really before that. Spells of Genesis minorly, but really only a few cards. Like the community for Spells of Genesis was like upset with how that was going, because they were basically like kind of like stalling out and not they're just releasing like ICO cards after a while, and the community kind of got fed up, and that's kind of like what prompted Rare Pepe, and just the fact that it was like Americans, people from England, Japan, Venezuela, etc. It was just a worldwide thing where you didn't have that anywhere else, and that's really what crypto art became and should be. It's like kind of like a decentralized community of just artists and collectors, and wasn't really any was it was an open door to anybody. You just couldn't do any not safe for work or like X-rated cards for the most part, and they would get accepted.
Very cool. And now, how did that turn, or how did the fake rare directory get started?
So I guess like this, going back to the beginning of this interview, like you had fake rares like almost immediately from the beginning of Rare Pepes. You had what was called fake rares, and even when I jumped in, like I was in there after about 2 weeks that Rare Pepes had been going. You had people like putting fake rares in there, and that's what they were called. Like it was like not rare. It's like even on the Rare Pepe wallet, if you have XCP assets that aren't Rare Pepes and you click on it, it has like a not rare logo. Like it was, or a fake rare logo. So that was always a thing, like fake rares. Many people tried to spin up Rare Pepe competitors or like derivatives during those times. Like there was at least 4 or 5 Ethereum ones that tried to get spun up. Like I said, the XCP one right after that Need Money tried to spin up, and there was just never any traction with most of them. And it was always because like people looked at like the Rare Pepes had to be on XCP, they had to be scientifically approved by the scientists. It was just all like a meme, And so when 2021's going on and Rare Pepes are getting collected and XCP's kind of pop it again.
And the chat was like, how many people are in that chat now?
There's like 2,000 people in that chat, in the Rare Pepe chat, and you got the XCP chat.
And what are the rules to the chat?
You're not allowed to share anything except for Rare Pepe. So like if you put a fake rare in there, you get kicked. Or
And
you get
did that maybe happen to you?
Yeah, so I was just clowning around, and I had made a fake rare that I actually made the art, and I just put it was like a meme. It was called Daddy Builds Them or whatever. It ended up being called Freedom Keck. It was a picture, like a World War II picture that I redid. And this guy, Dave, asked me back in the day, he's like, yo, can I mint this? I'll give you half of them. I was like, sure. And so he submitted it to the Rare Pepe directory, and it got denied. I don't know why it got denied. I didn't even it wasn't even on my radar, to be honest with you. Like, it's like years later passed, and I look at my wallet. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got these things. These are pretty cool. Like, they're not part of the Rare Pepe collection, but I always liked the meme, and so I put it in the chat, just kind of like, just spark some stuff up. Like, I like trolling, so like I just put it in the chat. And I was like, the next like whatever address is, I'll send you one of these. And I got like muted like immediately by a buddy of mine, and yeah, I couldn't talk in the chat. I could only like read only, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. So I use that as like a thing to like launch pad fake rares, basically. I told a buddy, and I was like, yo, tell that chat, anybody who shares this card in there, it'll be a proof of ban card, because you get banned.
I shared it though. They didn't ban me.
They banned most people. Like, I think like 50 people went in there and shared it, and I started a Telegram chat. They all came in, and a lot of the Rare Pepe scientists, a lot of the community members, a lot of the big crypto art people all joined quickly, and it just went crazy. I mean, I had no idea what was going to happen. That whole summer leading up to it, I had people in my ear saying like, yo, we should start some Pepes on XCP, we should do this, we should do that, and it was just never like an opportune time to really do it and make it work, I didn't think. So,
and it was like the whole NFT market was going to happen with no Bitcoin, even though it all started on Bitcoin. Everything was on Ethereum and then developing on these other chains, and it just seemed kind of a shame that Bitcoin had this technology that works great and no one knows about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a Streisand effect that a few Rare Pepe people were like upset that people were creating new rare Pepes in 2021, and that was like the meme. It was like, oh no, it's illegal to create Rare Pepes in 2021 and put them like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you want us to put them on Ethereum or put them on XCP where they belong, and this is, everybody wants to do it. And it took a while for a few people to come around. We definitely have a couple haters still, but we need them. Like, they're like the fuel to our directory.
So what happened? How does the tokenomics of fake rares work?
So quickly, I mean, the idea just spun up in the chat. It was September 22nd, I believe, of 2021.
I remember you were sitting in our bathroom arguing. You were like, what the heck? I just got banned.
Yeah, I was like pumped up. It was like a real like energy filled day, because like I was like banned by my buddy, like who was at my house like 2 days
like the day before or something. Yeah.
But it was funny too. Like, it was just a fun thing. Like, it's just we were trolling each other. Like, I knew that like the Rare Pepe chat, nobody's bigger than the Rare Pepe, so you got to follow the rules. Like, even the scientists have to follow the rules. It was it was all good.
You're back in the chat after
yeah,
like
of
a
course,
day.
yeah. But yeah, it was just basically like we were talking in the chat, and we're like, let's spin up a card, and we made I don't know how it all really started. I have to go back in the chat and look, but I mean, the first card of the set is Series 0, and that's the Freedom Cat card, which is the card that was shared. It's like the proof of ban card. So that's like card number 1 basically in the directory, and then we were like, all right, well, let's start a series. How do we do this? And people just started creating Pepes, and they were sharing them in the chat, and we're like, oh shit, well that's good. Let's put that as card 1. Let's put that as
what
card
about
2.
the 20 tokens?
Oh yeah,
and
so even before
torch?
that, yeah, it's like we did come up with some rules, and basically, all right, yeah, so in Rare Pepe, you needed Pepe Cash to get into the directory. You had to like burn Pepe Cash, etc., to get into the directory. That was like a spam mechanism, so that not anybody can just submit and get in. You had to like have a little bit of work and effort to get in. So for this one, we made fake ASF card, and basically I was just like, yo, let's just get the community and we'll make a card. And I started it off and I put it in there, and then people just added their memes to it, and we had over 20 artists add to it, and it basically became the community created card. I minted it, and the idea was that card was going to be Series 1, card 1. Series 0 card, like those would be for like the old fake rares, the ones that didn't get in the directory, and just like old XCP assets that never made it into a directory. And Series 1 started like the new fake rares. So card 1 is like a deflationary asset where there was 2,000 of them made, and we airdropped them or gave them away, whatever you want to say, to the first 100 people that gave their XCP addresses. So everybody who got that got 20 of the cards, and they were able to distribute to their friends or create, etc. And the idea was that you don't burn this card. There's a new function in XCP called destroy, which takes away from the total supply. So it started out at 2,000, and now 5 months later we're at like 1,763, I think. So 250 plus or 240 plus. What math? My math is off. Over 250 fake ASF basically have been burned. So we must be at like, we're at like 1693 or 1673.
How many series have you had?
We've had 5, and we're on Series 6 just starting. But some people, like, to get like card 21 in Series 1 or to get card 50, people put up like bids to like bid. Like some people destroyed like 20 some fake ASFs to get their card in at one point. But going back, like, so that community card was distributed, and then you needed the fake ASF to get into the directory. So then I had an idea for the torch, basically. So fake torch is card 2, and that's the only one of one. You have to, one of the rules in fake rares is that you have to have at least 21 issued and no more than 10,000 issued. The old rules of Rare Pepe was 100 to 100,000. So we kind of like squeezed it a little bit. And it's the only one of one card. So it's like a gamified card where you pass it every week or two, and you get to put a card in Series 0. So it's kind of like a gamified like asset card number 2 that nobody ever really keeps, and that it's passed around to like trusted members of the community. So you got to be in the community to kind of get it, and then you're able to like put a card in Series 0 without destroying a fake ASF. And it's just to like keep the community on its toes, like have fun with it. Some people gamify it. It's been actually a pretty fun thing. Somebody held it one time for like a month and a half. We thought it was lost. So really then card 3 is the Fakamoto, which is done, and it was put in the directory because they put it in the chat, and everybody's like, oh, this is great. It was like a play on the Nakamoto card, and that was kind of like the theme of like the first series. Like it happened pretty quick. I mean, it happened so quick that I wasn't even able to create a Pepe to put in the directory. That people were kind of like playing on like the old Rare Pepes and just like faking them out. But then it just became a thing, and like people really wanted to create, and we had to kind of like start curating it more. And I mean, we started getting a ton of submissions, and this became like a full-time job, like out of nowhere. And so like I had to like, and I got like my friends, like I'm like people that didn't even know about crypto like, to this level, and I was like, yo, I need you to spin up a website for me. Yo, I need you to help me do this. Like then some people from the community like Fake Annie and Indelible especially like came in, and they were a huge help, are a huge help. So basically, we had this website. It was a WordPress site. It was terrible. It was janky, just like Rare Pepe's. But that was like the whole idea. We're just copying. We even copied the text word for word from Rare Pepe and put it on our site and just changed it to fakes. Like it was just a copy. Like we're trying to preserve Rare Pepe's. We had like the creator of Rare Pepe's, Mike, making memes for us. Like not asking him. He was just into it. Like at first he was like, I don't know about this, but then he saw what was going on. I think he liked it. Then you had Joe Looney came in and made a fake Rare wallet for us, which is skinned the Rare Pepe wallet and made the fake Rare wallet.
Didn't he post the other day on Twitter that no one would accept his card anymore?
No, that was fake news. He got rejected by the dinks. I mean, we had so many submissions that a dink Rare directory then got spun up, which was like, like the Kmart of like Pepe's, which, at first that's what it was, but now they have like crazy submissions coming in. So many that they're now rejecting people. So like. Rejecting
Joe Looney of all people.
Yeah, rejecting like Joe Looney.
But because it was a Bill Cosby card, I guess.
I don't know why. But I mean, it's not a bad card. It's in our directory.
Yeah.
Then you have I could foresee for sure like something spinning off that where there's another Rare Pepe direct. I mean, then you have like Pepe. Now since that started, since that started, you have Pepe Mon, you have Funchkins and Munchkins and Fockheads, and Drooling Apes, some kind of other ape card. You have the Puny Codes. You have all types of derivative projects and like original projects, and just artists minting like one of ones or minting outside of any directory on XCP. So like the last 5 months, I think I saw that I forget the number, but it was like I think 25% of all XCP assets have been created in the last like 5 months.
Wow.
Than was created in the first 8 years. I mean, XCP is like blown up.
And so in the 6 series of the fake rares, how much money has been like spent on them?
I mean, millions of dollars. I mean, there's over $6 million at least that have been collected on fake rares. And again, like we take none of that money. Like honestly, I've spent more money on this than I've made, just like keeping the website up and maintaining peace and order and all that stuff. But to be honest with you, though, like it's also a whole nother chapter to this. Is that I think I was getting into is that we had this janky website, we had this janky Proton email to submit to, and then, I got robbed. My website got stolen from me, the email got stolen from me, and this like Eastern European gang called the Faca Nostra took over, and they run the website. In fact, there's been a few different instances where they run the website. And then we had Ghostface Killah from Wu-Tang Clan come in and actually overthrow them for Series 4, where Ghostface then curated, Series 4. And then he went on tour, and then LaFaca snuck in and, like, stole the website back. So, like, right now, LaFaca's running it, and, like, I don't have as much to do with it anymore. It's really just, like, LaFaca Nostra, and I don't know who they are. People try to hit me up and be like, "Oh, I'm submitting Pepes to you," and I'm like, "Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Pepe looks great, but you got to make sure you get it through LaFaca." So there's a whole element of like WWE wrestling involved that I think is fun.
It goes along nice for DJ Pepe must really appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a fake DJ Pepe that was a whole other thing where like. I mean, we could get into a lot of things where like sub-assets, like we've really utilized sub-assets, which is a thing on XCP throughout this set. Like to get in, for Series 3 to start, LaFaca, that's I think when LaFaca Nostra took over the whole directory, they said they weren't going to start Series 3 until 21 sub-assets from each creator were created in honor of them. So,
and just for anyone that doesn't know, what's a sub-asset?
Basically, when you create a smart contract, XCP is a smart contract. It's one smart contract on Bitcoin. It's the second layer on Bitcoin. So you're minting on Bitcoin, but the metadata and everything is like parsed through XCP. So the sub-assets are like, you can't create a sub-asset unless you own the original asset. So it's kind of like its own directory almost. And you can like do different things. Like I'm not going to get into all the technicals, but it's a real like kind of groundbreaking thing that most.
And it gives the holder a benefit. Like it's, I don't want to use the word dividend or anything, but like it adds, you get more cards basically from your. Well,
you can just, if you own a card in the set, then you can receive other cards just by owning that card. And that's kind of what happened. Is like LaFaca came in and said, "Pay your homage to me," and there was 42 plus assets created in honor of LaFaca Nostra, which are crazy in itself, which could be a whole nother set and series. And then from there, other people started, sub-assets have been a huge thing. I mean, even some of the main cards that are accepted are sub-assets of like Rare Pepes. Then, just recently had the purple Pepe sub-assets. So Series 6, Lafaka demanded that it slowed down because Series 5 went really quick. It came out in like a week and a half, which Series 4 took like a month and a half to come out. So they slowed down and they demanded all purple Pepes come out. And I think there's been over 20 purple Pepe sub-assets. And I'm probably speaking like a different language, like I get it. But if you come in and you'll see what I'm talking about. You come in the chat and you kind of start collecting there and you kind of get it. So basically, like people took derivatives of their cards and did some purple aspect to it in some way. And that all kind of came from like this purple Pepe that I created in Series 3, I think, which was like a troll to somebody, it was like a troll card. Like we had some haters talking big about how fake rares is like this crazy idea that blah, blah, blah. And so I had to make a card about it. I chose the color purple because I feel like purple is just like an enlightened color and all that stuff. So it kind of, the purple's theme has really started playing out in this series, which is fun. And then I'll get back to the DJ Pepe. The fake DJ Pepe was made. So the original DJ Pepe, I created it from based on my favorite scratch DJ, which is DJ Qbert, who's like the godfather of, scratch music in my opinion, which is turntablism. And so when he came in, I saw him come into the NFT space in the summer of 2021, and I was like, oh, okay. I reached out to a mutual friend. I was like, yo, does he know about DJ Pepe? Because I basically just colored him green as DJ Pepe and like put some stuff to it. And he said, yo, he's a big fan, like all this shit, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like it's it was nuts. Like we started working on a collab for like Super Rare actually, and the fake rares hadn't started yet, and like right around there the fake rares started, like right after like we started talking, and I was like, yo, do you want to do this fake rare DJ Pepe one? And basically it was like a whole 360 where Qbert. I showed the card is actually DJ Pepe turning into Qbert or Qbert turning into DJ Pepe, or however you want to look at it. And Qbert wrote like all the text for it and all that stuff. And DJ Pepe's had unlockable music playlists since 2016, and the fake DJ Pepe has one as well, and it actually has some Qbert mixes in there and some of the fake rare community's music in there. So again, it's like kind of paying homage to the DJ Pepe, but it's just like a 360 that happened with this whole thing, because it's like here I am working with Qbert, and like we've done a couple things now, like consider Qbert like a homeboy now, like which is nuts just through the DJ Pepes and the fake rares, and he's like now like created sub assets and he's creating new cards and he's all like into it, so. It's pretty cool, like how that's come in. I mean, we had Ghostface Killick come in and create, me, Hansel, and Indelible, made 5 cards for him, and he was super on board, and he came in and played along with like the whole like wrestling, Lafaka out of their seat, their power position, recorded a bunch of audio for it, and it was cool. So yeah, it's pretty wild actually. We've had a lot of Ethereum NFT people start coming over and collecting. You've got a lot of like big artists coming in. There's an artist named Searlight who's like the top selling super rare artist of all time, and super rare is like the biggest NFT one of one crypto art platform. And they came in and created a fake rare, and it's like the most highly collected card now, very expensive to get. You pretty much can't get it. Nobody sells it to you. You got like people like ACK, who's another big artist. There's a lot of artists that have come in that are just kind of killing it. And then there's fake rares, like the artists that have just developed in the community that like weren't even part of the NFT community period. Like you got like Coit, you got like Pepinardo, you got T Wade. I could go on and on. You got a ton of different artists, but Pepinardo in particular is like a painter that has a pretty like nice career. Like I don't even know, he's anon, but I know that he does something. But he makes these Pepes, and he put a Pepe on Twitter right when Fake Rares launched and asked, "Oh, where should I mint this?" Like, just getting into NFTs apparently. And somebody was like, "Oh, you should check out Fake Rares." He joined the community, and he fit right in. And now he's like, killing it, like galleries and all that stuff, like with his Pepes. So it's cool. Like we've got like a mix of like old, like a lot of the OG Pepes that creators, from Theo to Joe to Crypto Chainer to Indel to Rare Designer to Robness, myself. There's been MT, TK. There's like 15, 20 Rare Pepe artists at least. Like Mr. Hansley, Easy B. It's probably closer to 30 or 35 actually that I've created. And then you got all these new people that have created on there. Then you got some like Ethereum, like the foundation people. Like there's a lot of Pepes that kind of invaded the foundation platform recently, like over the last 6-7 months. And some of them have come over and made crazy stuff. And I mean it's just nuts. Like everybody wants to make a fake rare now, and
Where do you think it's going? Like, how long is it gonna last? Like, the series will keep
Well,
going.
it's interesting because we have a deflationary asset to get in. So at some point, there's going to be like a game theory that happens where it's like, do I want to destroy this fake ASF token to get into this set? I think so. Maybe that happens around like series 20. Maybe it happens around series 30, maybe 35. It depends. But basically, we plan on keeping going until there's a lull. Like if no more submissions come in, everybody wants to hold their fake ASF, then maybe we start volume 2 and start a new community coin and make fake ASF like a wild card in that one, where you can do some funner things by holding it.
What do you have coming up in Miami?
So we have like a fake rares takeover at Bitcoin Miami. There's a gallery, like we have like a side gallery that the magazine is helping us with, and yeah, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna basically showcase the rare Pepes and fake rares in a gallery in Wynwood. That's Thursday evening, the second day of the conference, and then that whole conference Wednesday through Saturday or Sunday or whatever. We have the NFT and art gallery at the conference, so you'll see a bunch of like Pepes, giant paintings. I'm bringing some stuff, some drawings, stained glass work. You got like people that, there's some crazy stuff, and it's not just Pepes, it's Bitcoin art period. But we're talking about Pepes, so like that's kind of the focus of Bitcoin NFTs has been Pepes. So you're gonna see a big, I think, Pepe presence in that part of it. And then, all the Bitcoin art as well, which will be crazy. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. And we got a pretty big auction coming up soon that I can't really disclose, but be on the lookout for that. Big digital auction house. And, yeah, a lot of big artists that I think are going to blow socks off are creating fake rares right now. So it's all pretty interesting.
The art coming out on them is just incredible, and the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing. We so with XCP was never had like music tokens or anything. And music has been my passion for a long time. So that was pretty important to start doing music tokens. And we actually, through the community, we figured out ways to, it started with a YouTube links, and then it manifested to where you had an MP3 merged with a GIF that somebody developed, and then now we're mainly using this platform called easyasset.art, which uses Arweave, which is like some kind of like other like IPFS style like decentralized hosting thing, where now you're able to like use the block explorer and upload like giant movies, like iframe NFTs. There's all types of like just crazy stuff that wasn't done on XCP period that people have come in and developed. They made wallets, new yeah, Dim Zion, who's another like super like dope Bitcoin artist that people know about, but he's come in and crushed the Pepes. And not only that, though, he created a wallet explorer that, I mean, it's just game changing. Like, it's like he's killing it. Like, I didn't even know this dude knew how to code. Like, he's just a sick artist, period. And now here he is, like, spinning up, like, advanced, like, XCP, like, basically that was the main problem with XCP is you couldn't, like, see all your assets all the time. Like, it was, like, just, like, names associated with this and that if it wasn't in a directory. So he spun up something where it kind of like visualizes X-Chains, like every new mint that comes out, you can like see it in the wallet, and that's called dankset.io. So check that out.
Do you think there's ever going to be any metaverse for Bitcoin or counterparty?
I mean, I think the metaverse, we are in this is the metaverse, like all the social media and NFT stuff. But I guess as far as like the virtual lands and stuff, like yeah, Bitcoin has virtual land stuff going on. I don't know enough about it, but I could see it happening. And I mean, besides that, like another groundbreaking thing is Emblem Vault, where you can take your XCP assets and vault them onto Ethereum, where they don't leave the Bitcoin blockchain, but they then are displayed in a vaulted wallet on like these other like you can go into crypto voxels and Decentraland, Insomnium Space, etc., and have your Rare Pepes displayed and used in that fashion. So you're gonna, you got metaverse items like sneakers are coming out, like associated with the Rare Pepes. Like there's all types of just crazy stuff.
Will they be just digital sneakers, or you can get real sneakers too?
You have to wait and see.
I want some Pepe sneakers.
Yeah, there's a lot, just like the amount of development that's gone on in XCP in the last 6-7 months, I mean, is pretty wild. Amount of money.
Where do you think it'll be like 10 years from now?
I don't know. I think XCP is always going to, I think minting on Bitcoin, as Bitcoin gets more expensive, which I think it will be, it's going to be more expensive to mint. So like getting your mints in now is kind of like ideal because it's relatively cheap. Like first of all, you don't need XCP to mint using XCP. You can mint an unnamed asset and just pay the Bitcoin transaction fee.
That's what I do on Freeport.
Yeah, it's like Freeport that Joe Looney spun up a few years ago as well. It's like super easy for that. Then if you want a named asset, think of it, it's not exactly, but think of it like an ENS name and minted with your NFT. That's the thing. If you look at XCP, it's when Ethereum people come over, excuse me, to mint, it's a totally different way of minting and looking at NFTs. So it's just like a different experience, and you got to kind of explain it to them because like it's different for me, but not really because I started on XCP and then went to ETH and Tezos and explored all these other ones. But coming from that world and over to here, it's way different. You can do a lot different stuff. You can't do everything you can do on Ethereum or Tezos. Like you can't, mint from a contract yet. You can't, do like these living art pieces that I'm aware of, like a Matt Cain's Gazers or something like that. But there's there are stuff that apparently is developing like that. But that's the thing. It's like there's no like foundation that pays people to come and develop. It's like if you want to mint, work on this stuff, you work on it and then you put it out there for the people to use, and that's kind of how it's been. With that said, there are people putting money into XCP now, so there are like a little bit of development funds and stuff like that going on. You got Pepe.WTF, which has kind of changed the game. It's kind of aggregated like the sales prices across all the different platforms. You got Scarce.City, which has turned into like a Pepe and Fake Rare marketplace along with Bitcoin merchandise, which they use Lightning. And then you also have Lightning and XCP development going on. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff going on over on Bitcoin NFTs, period. And then just besides XCP, you got like RGB, which is, using Schnorr and Taproot and all this stuff for, private and non-private NFT stuff that should be coming out soon. You can even look at like Stacks blockchain. You can look at what's the one from Blockstream, Rare Toshi. A lot of people are trying different things on Bitcoin. I think right now XCP is like the truest one and the only one like really working with the whole like community. So it's gonna take a little bit of effort for the other ones to break in. But I do think like RGB is gonna be an interesting thing. There's a lot of development going on, but XCP is definitely like a cool, like fun, smart contract to like mint with Bitcoin.
Well, thank you very much for taking your time this evening to have a great conversation.
Thank you.